How's it going today, everybody? Eddie Kernan for Rexylab and the Squishy Guitar Project. Welcome to the Guitarmery. I thought that we were done with this right here, the Riff. Fortunately, though, we're not. I get to put the finishing touches on it that I was just dying to do. The first thing you might notice is that black pickguard. However, if you watch this whole series and the second video in it, you know that it's not supposed to have a black pickguard. But this right here is just treated poster paper. That's all that it is. It needed a pickguard over top of it, a clear one. That had to be custom made, and that took some time. But guess what? We got it now. So that is going to be thing number one that goes on here. I'm very excited about this. The next thing was the neck. It was beyond disappointing to me that Squishy, the person who this project is named after, did not get a customized headstock, but we were out of time. Well, I'm happy to let you know right now that in fact it is done. So I'm going to have to wet sand and stuff like that and then transfer these locking tuners over. I'm going to tell you exactly why this guitar is called the Riff, and I guarantee you it's not what you think. I'm working against the clock here because when I first met Squishy, she spent 1 week out of every month in Texas at Texas Children's Hospital. Just doing some quick observational calculations, it seems like now she gets to spend 1 week out of every month at home. Recently, there were some pretty intense developments, and dude, does that beyond suck. I'm not going to say anything more about that here because I don't want to be disrespectful to my partner Angie or her family. While I'm talking about Squishy, I want to mention my shirt here because you know what? She might be watching this. I wear a Squishy Guitar Project shirt every chance I get. It represents something that I am so proud of that my friend Angie and I have done with a lot of help from a lot of great people, but when it comes right down to it, this is me and her. That shirt represents not only all the work that we've put in, all the wonderful sponsors that we've had, all the YouTubers that have supported us, all the viewers that have been really, really cool, but also the children that we've done these guitars for. That being said, today I'm not wearing a Squishy Guitar Project shirt. I saw this thing and it is just so squishy. A giant T-Rex who has solved his problems of having short arms, and he is just so blissfully happy that he has a look of utter joy on his face with the phrase, "What now, bitch?" And that represents everything that I've known about this little girl for so long. Every single time that she encounters something that would just knock anybody else out, she finds a way to just run right through that barrier. And while I'm on the subject, I cannot even begin to tell you how amazing her mom Angie is. She is an unstoppable dynamo and has my utmost respect. Okay, that's enough fanboy. Let's get back to this. Doesn't that look better already? Something else that's really cool is that this is the very first Squishy Guitar Project guitar that has what we're going to put on them, Squishy Guitar Project in partnership with Rexylab on the back. I'm going to explain to you why we call it the Riff, because I'm willing to bet that no matter what you're thinking, that's not it. Believe it or not, it all started with Paul Gilbert. I saw this micro when they first came out and I thought that it was so cool. One day, Angie and I were sitting in my recording studio and we were planning this whole thing out in the very beginning. This guitar was sitting against a couch and she looked over and she saw something on the headstock right there where it says micro. And she just kept on repeating micro over and over. Micro, micro, microcephaly. So Angie's sitting there and she just keeps on repeating over and over like some kind of creepy, bizarre, scary mantra. Micro, micro, microcephaly. And I looked at her and I was like, what is microcephaly? And she said, well, you gotta Google, look it up. I just kind of said under my breath, pinhead. And I did not realize what a horrible thing that was to say. She got a little upset and said, please do not call my daughter that. To which I responded, wait. I didn't mean to do anything wrong. Let me explain. So the very first thing that I did was I pulled up this movie, Freaks, which actually was made with real circus sideshow freaks back in the day. And a bunch of Karens got together, and because it upset them, this movie was banned in a lot of countries. When something makes you feel bad, there's no quicker way to be a complete asshole than to get offended on somebody else's behalf for a situation that you have absolutely nothing to do with. Thanks, Karen. In the movie Freaks, there's a scene.
We accept her, one of us. We accept her, one of us. Gooba gobble, gooba gobble. We accept her, we accept her. Gooba gobble, gooba gobble.
This has been replicated in many different places, from South Park.
Gooba gobble, gooba gobble, one of us. One of us. Gooba gobble, gooba gobble.
To the Ramones. So what I did was I showed her the concert footage of them doing Pinhead from the movie Rock and Roll High School. Wait, Gabba Gabba, it's Gooble Gobble. Joey Ramone had like some things going on with him. He was supposed to, in one point, say Mr. McGree about the music teacher, but he kept on saying,
yeah, we're going to be in town one more day, and if we like him, we'll come and pay you, Mr. McGloob, a visit.
So, Gabba Gabba, Gooble Gobble, it probably, that's how Gooble Gobble came out when it was run through the Joey Ramone filter. Well, Angie had never, ever, ever seen Rock and Roll High School, so she didn't quite know what to make of it.
This is the big time, girlie. This is rock and roll.
There was one last little part of that I wanted to show her. Angie's daughter, Squishy, is absolutely adorable. She is one of my favorite people. I just absolutely love her. And she reminded me a lot of the main character from Rock and Roll High School. When we first see the new administrator, Miss Evelyn Togar, that is when she looks up at a young PJ Souls who's been dancing on a table and says,
And who are you?
And she just looks down at her, sticks out her hand and says,
I'm Riff Randall, rock and roller.
I still think that's hilarious. And that's why we call this the Riff. It's named after Riff Randall, somebody that reminds me of Squishy, just with how she kind of is doing everything on her own terms. God bless her, it's awesome. If you've ever wondered why custom work is so expensive, it's because you have to do all this funky little detail shit. And right now, I don't care about hurting this thing that I paid too much money for. I don't care about breaking a blade on here. I don't care about this thing. I don't care about anything other than this part right here because it's one of a kind. It's the only one in the world. And if I mess it up, there is absolutely no going back. Pure tone jack's in. Gold football jack is in. And we're ready to rock with this thing. But first this.
You know what I got here? This is the Mojo hand, the Louisiana VooDoo charm, the winning boy's magic. They say there's only one last true Mojo left in the world. Take it, Lightning. Take it and go up there and do your stuff. I'm giving you all the magic I got.
But I am in Louisiana, so I'm going to make my own little mojo to put in here. The winning girl's magic. Here's what we're going to start with. If you saw the first video of this, you know how much these rainbow strings meant to Squishy. So that's going to be thing number one that goes inside this guitar. Thing number two is going to be the Rexylab pick that I've used to demo every single guitar that I have in every video I've ever done. And thing number three is very special. The very first run of Zappa Plays Zappa, I flew back to my hometown of Seattle. A guy came walking up to me when I was in there finding my seat, like extra early with all my buddies, and he said, "Are you a fan of Steve Vai?" If you only knew. And then he handed me this. This is one of Steve Vai's picks. I've been saving it because it was so completely awesome that this guy gave this to me. We're going to put it in right there. So Squishy, you go and you do your stuff. I'm giving you all the magic I got. There it is in all its glory. It is my humble opinion, not so humble opinion, that this looks 1,000 times better with the matching swirl rather than the black pickguard. So you get the big thumb, as Mr. Frank Zappa would say. Well, it's been a real long journey, but it's together now. And man, doesn't that look good. I'm so happy that I was able to explain why this is called the Riff. What do you think of your new guitar? You remember when we painted it and did all that fun stuff?
Yes.
And now it's all done and it's very, very cool.
And shiny.
And now I get a spa day. Now you're going to give me the spa day too.
Well, not right now.
Not right now.
I have one.
You got a customer first.
Yes.
Okay.
And then my second, and then the baby's. But the baby's gonna need my second, and then you're gonna need.
Oh, I'm the third. Okay. All right. Well, we can do that. I feel prettier already.